Question 1. In California, what is the minimum firearm training requirement for a new concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit applicant, as specified by current law? A. 8 hours of training, including live-fire qualification. B. 16 hours of training, including live-fire qualification. C. 4 hours of classroom instruction only. D. No specific training hours are required, it's at the discretion of the issuing authority. Answer: B. 16 hours of training, including live-fire qualification. Current California law mandates a minimum of 16 hours of firearms training for new concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit applicants. This comprehensive training must include live-fire qualification to ensure the applicant demonstrates proficiency with the firearms they intend to carry. This increased training requirement emphasizes the state's commitment to ensuring permit holders are highly competent and responsible in their use and handling of firearms. Remember, continuous practice is key to maintaining your skills beyond the initial training. Question 2. A California CCW permit holder is legally required to inform a peace officer that they are carrying a concealed firearm under which circumstance? A. Immediately upon any contact with a peace officer, regardless of the reason. B. Only when specifically asked by a peace officer if they possess a firearm. C. Only if the peace officer initiates a traffic stop. D. Never, as it may be considered an admission of guilt. Answer: B. Only when specifically asked by a peace officer if they possess a firearm. In California, a concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit holder is not automatically required to volunteer information about carrying a concealed firearm to a peace officer during every interaction. The legal obligation arises specifically when a peace officer directly asks the individual if they possess a firearm. This ensures permit holders cooperate with law enforcement inquiries while avoiding unnecessary disclosures, emphasizing responsible and lawful interaction. Always be courteous and comply truthfully if a law enforcement officer asks about your firearm. Question 3. Under California law, a valid concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit does not authorize you to carry a concealed firearm in which of the following locations? A. A rest stop along a state highway. B. A federal building open to the public. C. A private residence with the owner's permission. D. A privately owned convenience store that does not post "No Firearms" signs. Answer: B. A federal building open to the public. Even with a valid California concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit, federal law strictly prohibits carrying firearms in most federal buildings, regardless of state CCW laws or whether the building is publicly accessible. This includes places like post offices, federal courthouses, and IRS offices. Understanding this distinction is crucial because federal laws often supersede state laws in specific jurisdictions and property types. Always verify the rules of the specific location you intend to enter, especially when dealing with federal property. Question 4. Which of the following factors can lead to the denial or revocation of a California concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit application or existing permit? A. A history of speeding tickets. B. Demonstrating an inability to exercise care and judgment in the use of a firearm. C. Being a registered voter. D. Having a hunting license. Answer: B. Demonstrating an inability to exercise care and judgment in the use of a firearm. California law, particularly with recent updates, includes temperamental fitness and good moral character as key criteria for concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit issuance. Demonstrating an inability to exercise care and judgment in the use of a firearm directly reflects a lack of suitability, which is a significant ground for denial or revocation. This criterion ensures that only responsible individuals, who pose no undue risk to public safety, are authorized to carry concealed firearms. Maintaining a clear record and always acting with caution and responsibility are paramount for retaining your permit. Question 5. If a California CCW permit holder changes their permanent residence address, what is generally required by law regarding their permit? A. No action is required unless renewing the permit. B. The permit holder must notify the issuing agency within 30 days of the change. C. The permit immediately becomes invalid and a new application is required. D. Only out-of-state moves require notification. Answer: B. The permit holder must notify the issuing agency within 30 days of the change. A California concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit holder is legally obligated to notify the issuing agency, typically the local sheriff's department or police chief, of any change in their permanent residence address within 30 days. This notification ensures that the issuing authority has accurate contact information and can maintain proper records for all permit holders. Timely notification is a simple but important aspect of responsible permit stewardship, as failing to do so could result in penalties or permit complications. Question 6. A California CCW permit holder is at a private business that has prominently displayed a sign stating, "No firearms allowed." What is the lawful action for the permit holder? A. They are still permitted to carry concealed, as their CCW overrides private property rules. B. They must disarm and secure their firearm before entering the premises. C. They can ignore the sign if they believe their personal safety is at risk. D. They should verbally inform the business owner they have a CCW and enter anyway. Answer: B. They must disarm and secure their firearm before entering the premises. In California, private property owners have the right to prohibit firearms on their premises, and a prominently displayed "No firearms allowed" sign carries legal weight. Even with a valid concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit, entering such a business with a firearm would be a violation of the property owner's rules and could lead to trespassing charges. Respecting these signs demonstrates responsible firearm ownership and adherence to the law, ensuring you avoid legal complications. Always be aware of and respect private property signage regarding firearms. Question 7. What is the primary purpose of the good moral character requirement for a California CCW permit? A. To ensure the applicant has no prior arrests of any kind. B. To determine if the applicant is a responsible, law-abiding citizen unlikely to pose a public safety risk. C. To assess the applicant's financial stability. D. To verify the applicant's political affiliations. Answer: B. To determine if the applicant is a responsible, law-abiding citizen unlikely to pose a public safety risk. The good moral character requirement for a California concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit serves as a broad assessment of an applicant's overall suitability and trustworthiness. Issuing agencies use this criterion to evaluate whether an applicant is a responsible, law-abiding citizen who will not pose a public safety risk if entrusted with a concealed firearm. This evaluation looks beyond mere criminal history to encompass factors such as respect for the law, honesty, and sound judgment. Maintaining a consistent record of law-abiding behavior and responsible actions is crucial for meeting this requirement. Question 8. Under what circumstances can a California CCW permit be immediately revoked by the issuing agency? A. If the permit holder moves to a different county within California. B. If the permit holder is charged with any felony or certain misdemeanors. C. If the permit holder fails to attend a firearms training refresher course. D. If the permit holder changes jobs. Answer: B. If the permit holder is charged with any felony or certain misdemeanors. A California concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit can be immediately revoked if the permit holder is charged with a felony or certain serious misdemeanors. These types of charges indicate a potential significant breach of the good moral character, or temperamental fitness, requirements that are essential for holding a CCW permit. The ability to revoke a permit swiftly in such circumstances helps ensure public safety by removing firearms from individuals who may no longer meet the strict legal standards for carrying. Always strive to avoid any legal entanglements that could jeopardize your permit. Question 9. When renewing a California Concealed Carry Weapon (CCW) permit, how often is refresher training typically required? A. Annually. B. Every 2 years. C. Every 5 years. D. At the discretion of the issuing agency, but usually less than 16 hours. Answer: C. Every 5 years. For a California Concealed Carry Weapon (CCW) permit, refresher training is generally required every 5 years upon renewal. This periodic training, typically shorter than the initial 16-hour requirement but still including live fire qualification, ensures that permit holders maintain their proficiency and stay updated on relevant laws and safety practices. Regular refresher training is a vital component of responsible firearm ownership, reinforcing safe habits and legal compliance over time. Always prioritize continuing your firearm education and practice to remain proficient and lawful. Question 10. Which of the following is considered a sensitive place, where carrying a concealed firearm is generally prohibited, even with a California CCW permit, according to recent legislative updates? A. A private residence with the owner's explicit permission. B. A publicly owned library. C. A privately owned restaurant serving alcohol, unless posted. D. A friend's backyard barbecue. Answer: B. A publicly owned library. Recent California legislation has expanded the list of sensitive places where carrying a concealed firearm is generally prohibited, even for those with a valid concealed carry weapon (CCW) permit. A publicly owned library falls under this expanded list, as these are considered places where children and vulnerable populations gather and where a firearm would pose an undue risk. Understanding these expanded restrictions is critical for CCW holders to ensure compliance with the law and avoid carrying in designated prohibited areas. It's vital to stay informed about all places where your permit does not authorize carry. Question 11. What is the typical initial validity period for a new California Concealed Carry Weapon (CCW) permit? A. 1 year. B. 2 years. C. 5 years. D. 10 years. Answer: C. 5 years. In California, a newly issued concealed carry weapon (CCW) permit is typically valid for a period of 5 years from its date of issuance. This 5-year period allows permit holders to carry a concealed firearm, provided they continue to meet all legal requirements and adhere to all restrictions. Knowing the expiration date of your permit is crucial for timely renewal and uninterrupted legal carry, ensuring you remain compliant with state regulations. Mark your calendar for your renewal date to avoid any lapse in your permit. Question 12. If a California CCW permit holder is temporarily in another state, is their California permit generally recognized for concealed carry in that state? A. Yes, California CCW permits are recognized nationwide. B. No, California does not have reciprocity agreements with any other states. C. It depends on whether the other state has a reciprocity agreement with California. D. Only if the other state is a border state. Answer: C. It depends on whether the other state has a reciprocity agreement with California. The recognition of a California Concealed Carry Weapon (CCW) permit in other states is governed by reciprocity agreements between states. California generally does not enter into reciprocity agreements with other states, meaning that a California CCW permit is typically not recognized for concealed carry when traveling outside of California. Before carrying a firearm in any other state, it is absolutely essential to thoroughly research and understand that state-specific firearm laws and reciprocity policies. Always verify the laws of any state you plan to visit with your firearm to ensure legal compliance. Question 13. Which of the following is not typically a part of the application process for a California CCW permit? A. A background investigation by the issuing agency. B. An interview with the issuing agency. C. A psychological evaluation. D. A mandatory public notice of application. Answer: D. A mandatory public notice of application. The application process for a California Concealed Carry Weapon (CCW) permit typically involves a thorough background investigation, an interview with the issuing agency, and potentially a psychological evaluation to assess suitability. However, there is no mandatory public notice or advertisement of an individual's CCW application. This maintains the privacy of applicants while still allowing the issuing agency to conduct due diligence. Understanding the actual steps helps demystify the process and ensures applicants prepare for the correct requirements. Question 14. What is the maximum number of firearms a California CCW permit holder can list on their permit, assuming they qualify for all? A. 1. B. 3. C. No more than 5. D. There is no specific state-mandated limit, but the issuing agency may have a practical limit. Answer: D. There is no specific state-mandated limit, but the issuing agency may have a practical limit. While California state law does not specify a maximum number of firearms a concealed carry weapon (CCW) permit holder can list, individual issuing agencies, such as a county sheriff's department or city police department, often establish their own practical limits, typically around 3 to 5 firearms. These limits are usually based on what the agency deems reasonable for an individual to qualify with and effectively manage for concealed carry. Always check with your specific issuing agency for their local policies regarding the number of firearms allowed on a permit. Question 15. A California CCW permit allows for the concealed carry of a firearm. A. Only within the county of issuance. B. Only within the city of issuance. C. Statewide, unless in a prohibited area. D. Anywhere in the United States. Answer: C. Statewide, unless in a prohibited area. A California Concealed Carry Weapon (CCW) permit, once issued by a county sheriff or city police chief, is generally valid for concealed carry statewide, meaning throughout all counties in California. However, this statewide validity is always subject to specific prohibitions against carrying in designated, sensitive places, or other restricted locations, regardless of your permit. This broad validity within the state highlights the permit's reach while underscoring the importance of knowing and avoiding restricted zones. Remember, your permit allows you to carry throughout California, but not everywhere. Question 16. Which of the following is a key component of the temperamental fitness requirement for a California CCW permit, as per recent legislative updates? A. Demonstrating proficiency in advanced marksmanship. B. Possessing emotional stability and sound judgment. C. Having a robust physical fitness level. D. Completing a self-defense martial arts course. Answer: B. Possessing emotional stability and sound judgment. Recent legislative updates in California have introduced temperamental fitness as a key criterion for concealed carry weapon (CCW) permit applicants, emphasizing that individuals must possess emotional stability and sound judgment. This requirement aims to ensure that permit holders are able to handle stressful situations appropriately and make responsible decisions regarding firearm use, rather than acting impulsively or recklessly. It underscores that carrying a firearm is a serious responsibility requiring not just skill, but also a stable temperament. Always strive for calm and collected decision-making, especially when carrying a firearm. Question 17. If a California CCW permit holder is involved in a lawful self-defense incident where their firearm is used, what is the immediate legal requirement regarding reporting? A. Report the incident to the issuing agency within 24 hours. B. Report the incident to local law enforcement immediately. C. Report the incident only if an injury occurred. D. No reporting is required if the use of force was justified. Answer: B. Report the incident to local law enforcement immediately. In California, if a concealed carry weapon, CCW, permit holder uses their firearm in a self-defense incident, they are legally required to report the incident to local law enforcement authorities immediately. This immediate reporting ensures that law enforcement can respond, investigate the situation, and determine if the use of force was justified and lawful. Prompt notification is crucial for your legal protection and helps establish the facts of the incident, demonstrating your cooperation with authorities. Always contact 911 right away if you are involved in a self-defense shooting. Question 18. When transporting a handgun in a vehicle without a California CCW permit, the firearm must generally be A. Loaded and concealed under the seat. B. Unloaded and locked in a secure container. C. Unloaded and placed in the glove compartment. D. Loaded and openly displayed on the dashboard. Answer: B. Unloaded and locked in a secure container. For individuals transporting a handgun in a vehicle without a California Concealed Carry Weapon, CCW, permit, the firearm must generally be unloaded and locked in a secure container, such as a locked case or trunk, and not readily accessible to the occupants. This strict requirement is designed to prevent immediate access to the firearm and enhance public safety during transportation. Always remember that even without a permit, responsible storage and transportation practices are legally mandated. Question 19. Which of the following types of training is explicitly required for a California CCW permit, beyond just classroom instruction? A. Advanced tactical maneuvers. B. Live fire shooting qualification. C. First aid and CPR certification. D. Legal defense strategy seminars. Answer: B. Live fire shooting qualification. A mandatory component of the required training for a California Concealed Carry Weapon, CCW, permit is a live fire shooting qualification. This practical component ensures that applicants can safely and accurately operate the specific firearms they intend to carry in a controlled environment. The live fire requirement is crucial for demonstrating actual proficiency, which is vital for safe and responsible concealed carry. Regular practice at the range is essential to maintain the skills you gain during your qualification. Question 20. A California CCW permit holder is prohibited from consuming any alcoholic beverage while carrying a concealed firearm if A. They are at a restaurant that serves alcohol. B. They are at a private party. C. They are under the influence of alcohol. D. They are off duty from a security job. Answer: C. They are under the influence of alcohol. A California Concealed Carry Weapon, CCW, permit holder is strictly prohibited from carrying a firearm while under the influence of alcohol. This prohibition is designed to prevent impaired judgment and ensure public safety, as alcohol can severely diminish one's ability to act responsibly and safely with a firearm. The presence of alcohol and firearms can be a dangerous combination, highlighting the importance of absolute sobriety when armed. Always practice complete sobriety when carrying a firearm. Question 21. If a California CCW permit holder loses their permit card, what is the required action? A. Wait until renewal to report the loss. B. Immediately notify the issuing agency and apply for a duplicate. C. Continue carrying without the card, as the permit is still valid. D. Report it to local police, but not the issuing agency. Answer: B. Immediately notify the issuing agency and apply for a duplicate. If a California Concealed Carry Weapon, CCW, permit holder loses their permit card, they are legally required to immediately notify the issuing agency and apply for a duplicate. This prompt notification helps prevent unauthorized use of the lost card and ensures that the permit holder has a valid identification for concealed carry. Failing to report a lost card could lead to complications if stopped by law enforcement. It's always best to promptly report any loss or theft of your permit card. Question 22. Which of the following is considered a school where carrying a concealed firearm is generally prohibited, even with a California CCW permit? A. A college campus. B. A private tutoring center. C. A public high school. D. All of the above. Answer: D. All of the above. California law broadly defines school to include any public or private school, kindergarten through 12th grade, as well as colleges and universities. Carrying a concealed firearm in or on the grounds of any of these educational institutions is generally prohibited, even for California Concealed Carry Weapon (CCW) permit holders. This sweeping prohibition is a core component of gun-free school zone laws designed to protect students and staff. Understanding this broad definition is crucial to avoid inadvertently carrying in a prohibited school zone. Question 23. What is the typical fee structure for a California CCW permit application? A. A single, non-refundable flat fee for the entire process. B. A series of fees for application, background checks, and training. C. No fees, as it is a constitutional right. D. Fees are only charged upon successful issuance of the permit. Answer: B. A series of fees for application, background checks, and training. The fee structure for a California Concealed Carry Weapon (CCW) permit application typically involves a series of fees covering various stages of the process. These often include an initial application fee, fees for background checks, like live scan fingerprints, and the separate cost of the required training course provided by certified instructors. This tiered approach ensures all necessary administrative and investigative costs are covered. Be prepared for multiple financial outlays during the application process. Question 24. A California CCW permit holder who is carrying a firearm must also carry: A. A copy of the Penal Code sections related to concealed carry. B. Their CCW permit card and a valid form of identification. C. Proof of firearm insurance. D. A list of all prohibited carry locations. Answer: B. Their CCW permit card and a valid form of identification. When carrying a concealed firearm under a California Concealed Carry Weapon (CCW) permit, the permit holder is legally required to also carry their valid CCW permit card and a valid form of identification, such as a driver's license or state ID. This ensures that if contacted by law enforcement, the individual can readily prove their lawful authority to carry the firearm. Always keep your permit and ID together when carrying your firearm for easy access and compliance. Question 25. Which of the following is a common reason for a California CCW permit application to be delayed? A. The applicant has too many registered firearms. B. The issuing agency is awaiting results from a comprehensive background check. C. The applicant has moved recently. D. The applicant has not joined a shooting club. Answer: B. The issuing agency is awaiting results from a comprehensive background check. A common reason for delays in a California Concealed Carry Weapon (CCW) permit application is the time it takes for the issuing agency to receive and review results from the comprehensive background checks, which include federal, state, and local records. These investigations are thorough and can sometimes take an extended period to ensure all information pertinent to the good moral character and temperamental fitness requirements is properly evaluated. Patience is often necessary during this part of the application process. Question 26. A California CCW permit allows an individual to carry a concealed loaded firearm. A. In their vehicle and on their person, in public places where not prohibited. B. Only in their home. C. Only at a shooting range. D. Only unloaded in a locked container. Answer: A. In their vehicle and on their person, in public places where not prohibited. The primary purpose of a California Concealed Carry Weapon (CCW) permit is to authorize an individual to carry a concealed loaded firearm both on their person and within their vehicle in public places. However, this authorization is always contingent on not being in any of the numerous locations designated as sensitive places or other prohibited areas by law. Understanding this scope allows you to carry responsibly within legal boundaries, ensuring you are prepared yet compliant. Question 27. What is the typical standard of proof the issuing agency uses when evaluating an applicant's good moral character for a California CCW permit? A. Beyond a reasonable doubt. B. Clear and convincing evidence. C. Preponderance of the evidence. D. Mere suspicion. Answer: B. Clear and convincing evidence. When evaluating an applicant's good moral character for a California concealed carry weapon (CCW) permit, the issuing agency typically uses a standard of clear and convincing evidence to determine if the applicant is unsuitable. This standard requires more than a mere suspicion or a preponderance of evidence but less than the beyond a reasonable doubt standard used in criminal cases. It allows the agency to deny a permit if there is substantial, credible evidence indicating the applicant may pose a public safety risk. Always strive to maintain a reputation and history that clearly demonstrates your good moral character. Question 28. Which of the following might constitute an unsuitable characteristic for a California CCW permit applicant under the Good Moral Character Review? A. Having an active social media presence. B. A history of reckless or irresponsible behavior, even if not criminal. C. Being a certified firearm instructor. D. Owning multiple types of firearms. Answer: B. A history of reckless or irresponsible behavior, even if not criminal. The Good Moral Character Review for a California Concealed Carry Weapon (CCW) permit can consider a history of reckless or irresponsible behavior, even if it hasn't resulted in a criminal conviction. Issuing agencies look for a pattern of conduct that suggests an applicant might not exercise the necessary care and judgment required for carrying a firearm responsibly. This holistic assessment goes beyond just criminal records to ensure the applicant's overall suitability for public safety. Always be mindful that your actions reflect on your fitness to carry a firearm. Question 29. Is a California CCW permit holder allowed to carry a concealed firearm into a polling place during an election? A. Yes, as voting is a constitutional right. B. No, polling places are designated sensitive places. C. Only if they are an election official. D. Only if they have a specific waiver from the Secretary of State. Answer: B. No, polling places are designated sensitive places. California law designates polling places as sensitive places, where carrying a concealed firearm is explicitly prohibited, even for individuals with a valid concealed carry weapon (CCW) permit. This restriction is in place to ensure the safety and integrity of the election process, creating a secure environment free from the presence of firearms. Understanding these specific prohibitions is crucial for CCW holders to remain compliant with the law. Always be aware of designated no-carry zones, including polling places. Question 30. What is the primary difference between open carry and concealed carry of a firearm in California? A. Open carry is legal everywhere, while concealed carry is not. B. Open carry means the firearm is visible, while concealed carry means it is not. C. Concealed carry requires a permit, while open carry does not. D. Open carry is only allowed for law enforcement, while concealed carry is for civilians. Answer: B. Open carry means the firearm is visible, while concealed carry means it is not. The fundamental difference between open carry and concealed carry of a firearm lies in the visibility of the weapon. Open carry refers to having a firearm visible to the public, such as in a holster on the hip, while concealed carry means the firearm is hidden from ordinary observation, typically under clothing or in a bag. California generally prohibits open carry of loaded or unloaded firearms in most public places, making concealed carry with a valid permit the primary legal method for armed self-defense for civilians. Always ensure your firearm is fully concealed when you are authorized and intend to carry it that way.